never hike alone.
Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. We don't get too many of these a year, but we're going to get two of them. We're going to get one more in December when that horrible looking Black Christmas remake comes out. A second one. Ugh. New ideas, people. But anyways, we got one more Friday the 13th coming out this year, but I'm not going to review the original series. I decided to do something a little special for this year's Friday the 13th, and that is to review the very much talked about fan film Never Hike Alone that has set, honestly, a new bar for how your fan film should look. I am not someone who goes and looks at fan films all the time. I don't review them, but I'm making an exception here because this one is awesome. This one is just, it doesn't even look like a fan film. Like if you watched it and you showed it to someone and you're like, here's a horror movie, and they would watch it, and then when it was over 50 minutes later, well, that was a quick horror movie, but it was pretty good. And then you would say, that's a fan film, by the way. They'd be like, no fucking way. Some amateurs made that. It looks fantastic. This movie is great. I don't know what the budget was. I didn't do any research, but this movie is directed by Vincent DiSanti, who also plays Jason. And this movie stars also Andrew Leighty, the main guy in this movie, and he is great. And that is great because it's one person, and when that's a risky thing to do when you're making a movie or a fan film. If you have one person, that person has to carry the weight of the story and all the fun and entertainment all the way through, and if they're bad at acting or not entertaining, then it's not going to be good. But luckily for us, anyone who watches it, this main actor playing Kyle is fun and entertaining. He's like a YouTuber. He makes videos. He's an explorer. He's like Man vs. Wild or Bear Grizzly, whatever that show is, where it's like Man vs. Wild. That's what he does. And he's like a YouTuber. I don't think they say YouTuber. Maybe he's just a vlogger or whatever. But I think he's a YouTuber. He's like selling products. Like, here's the multi-purpose shovel. And then the werewolf starts making noises. There's some actual like funny moments in this. And that's good too, because it helps the pace of the movie. It's not just dialogue the whole time. There's some funny moments. And there's some like over-the-top, like cheesy dialogue that I feel like is that way on purpose at the end, like with the EMTs, that's paying homage to Axel. And that's another thing I like about this is the homages and the little winks that we get to that original franchise. We even get like a little calendar that says like June 13th. It's like got 1 through 12 X'd out. We even got things like the mom's head, and we got the Crystal Lake sign. We got Jason, we got the mask, everything. We got the score that they kind of use and borrow. So many great things about this. And another thing I really like about it is the location. The forest looks beautiful in this movie. I don't know where they shot it or what the location was, exactly what state. Were they in Canada? I don't know. But it looks beautiful. Unlike Friday the 13th Part 7. I think Friday the 13th Part 7 has the worst looking forest. And that's not important in the Jason movie. But if you're going to make a crappy movie like Part 7, let's be honest, at least make it look beautiful. And you could tell they shot that in like January in Georgia during the winter, so all the trees were just dead. But this one looks beautiful. And there's shots where it's so beautiful, you're like, that can't be real. It's so gorgeous. It has to be like a CGI green screen or something. So I don't know where the fuck they were, but I want to go vacation there and hope I don't get killed by Jason. Another little thing that they kind of pay homage to is the whole, like, the legend folklore telling, like that campfire story moment that he has with his audience when he's filming himself, and he's like, I'm going to give it to you straight, like in Part 2, and he tells the story about Jason to catch you up to speed in case you're just watching this one and you haven't seen the franchise yet.
My brother used to tell me stories about this place. Supposedly one summer, forever ago, a kid by the name of Jason Voorhees drowned in that lake. The cops searched for days, but his body was never discovered. The kid's mom, who was also the camp's cook, blamed the counselors for her son's death. And one night she went crazy, killing almost everyone before getting her own head chopped off by the only survivor.
I like that that's in here. I like that it's in canon. It's like a sequel to Part 6 or 7 or 8. It doesn't really say, so I guess it's up to interpretation. But I like that it's in canon with the franchise. It's not like ignoring them all. So it has to take place after Part 6 at least. And I like that it's a fresh new premise. And I think that's basically because of the budgetary restraints. Like if they had a big budget, I'm sure they would have had more people in here getting slaughtered and a bigger cast, but because of the budget and the fact that it's a fan film, there's only one person, and that can kind of be a negative. But like I said, Kyle is such a fun, not like real fun, like you're just smiling the whole time, but like he's fun enough to keep you going throughout the film. Like you want to see what he's going to do next. You want to see how good is he at mountain climbing, and you believe he's a mountain climber. Like he looks like a pro. I'm not sure if he is in real life or not, but I just like the premise. You know, it's a fresh new premise of, you know, let's just have someone go into the woods, not to bang and do drugs and be a counselor and then get killed one by one. Let's have one guy go into the woods because he's doing a blog or a YouTube thing. And that's just different. That's something different, and I appreciate that. Oh, and one other little homage that I forgot to mention is there's a callback to Kevin Bacon's death. There's a bunk bed, and there's like blood all over the bed. So that's clearly where Kevin Bacon got the spear through the throat. And then there's also like little things like, you know, the head tilt that Jason borrows from Michael Myers, and then the mask reveal, like whenever... I think in every movie, Jason's face gets revealed. And in this one, we get the same thing, except it's not like out in the, like daylight, and it's not like shown or lit very well. It's kind of like it's still kept in the shadow because they don't want to show, I guess, how bad the effects on his face were. So it's kind of like shadowy. But that's another little thing that they kind of check mark because every like Friday the 13th has that face reveal, like 3, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like they all have one. We even get a mention of like Cunningham Road. We get an EMT named Axel, who's that EMT or the coroner guy from Part 4. And we get, spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen it, Tom Matthews back playing Tommy Jarvis once again. Yes, he's not just here to play some random character. He is Tommy. It is canon with the universe of the original series, and I love that. Because I am a continuity person, and I just think it's great to know, what's Tommy doing now? Oh, he's an EMT. He drives ambulances. And I like that his character is like aware still of the situation. He's like of where they're at. He's like, I don't want to be here any longer than we have to. And then when he sees Jason, he calls him Maggot Head. Another callback. So much fan service done greatly. And the last couple of positives I will give this is that it has some decent stunt work for a low budget film. It's got a lot of like throwing, like Jason throwing Kyle around up against trees, throwing tables, all angry like. And this is a brutal Jason. This is like up there with like part 3 and 4. This is a very tall, menacing Jason. I wasn't crazy about the effects of the skin around his head. It kind of reminded me of Jason and Freddy vs. Jason was like this black rubber, and it clearly looks fake. So I wasn't crazy about that. But I dug the practical effects that we got as much as we could get. You get Kyle, he gets his leg torn up, and he has a dream sequence where he gets his head squished, and that looks great. Now, segueing into the negatives, I don't like the dream sequence. I just feel like dream sequences are cop-outs. It's just kind of like they're like, well, we need to up the body count, so let's have a dream sequence where we can kill him, but not really kill him. So we can still show some gore and some kill, but not really have a body count. So I'm never a fan of dream sequences unless they're like necessary. And this one didn't feel necessary. I can understand that he's going through a lot, so he would be having nightmares. But I don't know. They could have did something else. But another thing that I didn't care for is the loud footsteps. I felt like the loud footsteps were just way too loud and exaggerated. That's just like a nitpick. Like, it's just like, how could he sneak up on anybody if he sounds like that all the time? Is he wearing like freaking metal, like horseshoes underneath his boots? It's very loud. Now, Kyle is a good actor, but the other two people that we see in this movie, the EMTs, the guy and the girl especially, they're not good at all. I felt that their performances were definitely the poorest, and it stands out very much, like a sore thumb. Oh, and Jason teleports, does he not? Because, like, he's right behind Kyle, and then he turns around, and then Jason's just gone. And knowing how loud his footsteps are, there's no way he just took 2 steps to the right and, like, somehow snuck out of frame for Kyle to not see him. So that just didn't make sense to me, that moment right there. So am I supposed to be like, so that didn't happen, or is Jason teleporting like Jason Takes Manhattan. I thought that was weird. Does he teleport? Now, because this is a fan film and because they didn't have the budget to make like a 90-minute movie, it does feel a little short and abrupt, especially like the end. It feels like it just ends kind of quickly. It's like Kyle's being attacked and then he escapes and he's getting attacked and he escapes and the EMTs pick him up and they briefly get attacked for like a minute and then they escape and it's over like that. And it's like, whoa. It just felt kind of quick. I wish there was more. I wish these people would have had a bigger budget, and who knows what kind of film we would have gotten. Like, if they had a bigger budget, we probably could have seen Tom Matthews a little bit more, killing Jason for the 4th time. That's how I think this should have ended, was one last final badass, like, final battle between Tom Matthews and Jason. That would have been a perfect ending, but instead it's kind of like a very quick, like, right off into the sunset, all happy, like, we made it, and then it's over. So it's like, oh man, like, usually these have, like, you know, those twist endings, like Jason jumping out, you know, that final scare, or, you know, like one of them's crazy now. But this one didn't have anything. It's just like they wrote off after a very brief off-camera, like, fight. Like, one guy gets axed off-camera, and then the other girl, you hear her scream, and then she's dead, apparently. So it's just kind of, like, very tame in the, you know, the kill department. But, again, that's just budgetary reasons, so I can't harp on it too much. But it is a negative and a nitpick. Another little nitpick is I don't care for the Jason mask. Like, it doesn't look like the other ones, and it has like no marks on it. But that's just like I said, a very minute nitpick. I just like they could like paint like a little red triangle on there or something to make it look like part 3 and 4 and the one in part 6, because this is supposed to take place after part 6. So did it just fade away? But yeah, those pretty much sum up my thoughts on the Never Hike Alone fan film. It's a pretty good fan film. It's one of the only ones I've ever seen, but if all fan films look like this, I'll be watching a lot more. I don't really watch fan films that much. I don't have a rating system for this because it's not like you can watch it on Netflix or go rent it at Redbox or buy it. I don't think they've released this on Blu-ray or DVD, so it's just free on the internet. If you want to watch it, you still can. I'll leave a link below. You can just go to YouTube and look it up. You can look up Never Hike Alone, and it'll pop right up, and you can watch it for free. It's like 55 minutes long, 52, something like that. So yeah, I recommend you check it out. That's my rating. But what are your thoughts on this fan film? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you like what you've seen here, you can click this like button over here, and you can become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.